I'm going to say something mad, which Tim might not forgive me for, but something again that I found really difficult at first is that you have to really understand the shape of the sheep. And I know that sounds mad, but as you're doing those blows, as Tim talked about, you're following the line, the shape of the body of the sheep. And if you're not as familiar with the shape of a sheep as someone like Tim, it can be quite strange. Yeah. And so my mad idea would be just spend a little time with your sheep, just feel it. Feel where all the bits are, because actually it does really help.
It does make a difference, so it's quite easy to go into there and just keep going flat and straight out. And by doing that, then you're getting some of the wool off, but you've cut those fibres in half, so you've devalued your wool fleece straight away. As you said, not that it matters for small numbers or.
But could you literally? I mean, maybe this would be a thing to do now, Tim. Rather than shear her, I don't know how easy this is going to be for you, but just to do the moves without shearing, so that you can actually, so that people can actually see where you're going and what you're doing, so that they could maybe do a kind of practice run without actually holding the clippers.
We'll give it a go. Try anything once.
Yeah, try.
Okay, so brisket. It's that real hard chesty lump there, and there's always a bit of wool on there. So we'll have this leg up out of the way, and we'll come onto the brisket, down through there, and there is a real little dip there. So as you get to the bottom of the brisket, you need to just bring the teeth of the comb up slightly and around. So down the other side of the brisket then, come around again, and this leg, if she's going to be cooperative, will be there. So that leg's up out of the way, so we come around the belly, and you'll see as you push down, so you see the skin wrinkling in front of me, so I'll use my left hand just to tighten that skin and come around, and once you get out to the belly, I'm not sure any belly will on her, but coming down through the handpiece, you'll see a darker line in the wool, which will tell you coming out of the wool, so we come in to the outside of the wool and give you a bit of a guide, Dennis, to know you're getting close to the teats. So around the belly, and the badger's quite good because they've got a definite black belly, so that shows you that's about as far as you need to go to take the belly off. And then, so we'll just put my hands on her teats, pull her udder towards me, which brings these bits of skin towards me. So a little blow there, and that's the back leg. So imagine your roast lamb leg on a Sunday. That's your main chunk of meat there. So just by bringing that up and rolling around slightly there, a little bit there, and then we're going to come up onto the underside of the tail. So I'm just going to let the tail rest on my hand, run the machine up to the tip, and then just grab the tip of the tail, and then with the left hand side of the comb, go down the left hand, go down the left hand side, another blow down the back of the tail, another blow down the other side of the tail. So then we don't want her leg tucked up like this to get in there, because this is a real tricky bit. There's a lot of loose skin just there, it's quite easy to cut. So we're going to just gently push down there, and then we'll get the comb on the leg there, under the wool, and come up and come into this loose skin bit there, but you're keeping it tight by pulling the skin away from where you're cutting. So what you don't want to be doing is pulling the wool that you're going to cut. So if you pull the wool, you can imagine if you pull the hair on your arm, you're pulling skin as well.
Yeah.
So it's really easy to cut that lump of skin off there. Now, so what you want to avoid doing is pulling the wool that you're actually trying to cut. You don't really pull the wool, so you grab the skin and move the skin with your left hand, or if you're left hand, use your right hand, but you're moving the skin around to keep it tight.
There is a good analogy here. Boys, you may not get this, but girls, when you're having your eyebrows done, remember you have to pull the skin tight, but you don't pull the eyebrow. Same thing.
There we go. I remember that. So we've got this big back leg muscle now, and it's curved. So the sheep is a funny shaped football, cross between a football and a rugby ball with legs and a head. So yeah, as you said, there are humps and bumps there. So the wool is probably, well, we got 2.5 to 3 inches of wool. So we need to be 2.5 inches into the fleece there. So it's about following the contour. And I said about the feel of the comb against the sheep. There's a real resistance against the sheep as opposed to up in the wool. So there we are. We've done the belly, done the tail, and so we come right around to the backbone. So if we don't clear this right to the backbone, when we spin around and we're doing the second side, she'll be led on that wool that you haven't sheared off, and then that stays attached. And you think you've finished, you let it go, and she takes the fleece with her. Oh, she takes the fleece with her.
Oh, it takes the whole fleece,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah. So around the back leg, and put a bit of weight on that front of her leg there to keep that leg straight. It'll stop her kicking, so it keeps that nice and straight and tight. Bit of pressure in there. On a curve, round to the backbone, and then what we call the undermine then, it's come right up the backbone and clear over the backbone. So then we step through. So because that leg was up behind my bum, because this front leg is already up there, as we step through, it allows my knee in between her brisket and her front leg. So now we're going to come off there, right at the side of that neck. I'm bending her neck a little bit, not putting a lot of pressure, I'm not hurting her, I'm just bending that neck, her neck to keep the skin tight. And you see the black line of the badger up under her throat. So up to the ear, bring her around slightly, come around then, and you turn her head. So as I'm coming up, I'm turning her head into the machine to get round behind the ear. So then we'll do a little shuffle, come around again to the backbone. We don't need to go too far around, so about just short of getting to the backbone. Each blow then will come back to my right foot, fall around my left foot. So now we're getting round to the shoulder, and then a couple of short blows then towards the backbone to clear behind the shoulder blade there. So now we've got all this open, and then we can start on what we call the long blow. So we've sheared to there on the back leg, and now we've sheared to there, so we've got these little blows there, and we just let her roll towards us. So just shuffle back a bit, keeping hold of her head. So we're doing a short blow there, and remember we've sheared over the backbone right down to there now, so we've got to start there, follow the backbone. So we're using full comb on the wide body part. As you come up round the back of the neck, it's really narrow, so we don't need to use the whole comb there, we're just using half a comb there.
So you're following the contours and basically letting the comb come away where there is no skin, effectively.
Yeah. So where we come to a narrow place, we just use the outside edge of the comb, so only the far half of the comb, and bring the comb out towards you then, but keeping that part of the comb still flat on the skin, the bit that's cut in. So keep rolling it towards you, and then we get over the backbone, follow the backbone right up around. So this fleece is all falling away from you down there now. So step around again, and just quietly come down around the neck to that second shoulder then, so down to her right shoulder. So we'd already opened up around to there, so this is gone. So when you take this off, step back. So we've cleared this off now, so you've got to make sure you've cleared enough off there. So when you bring her up and you put the head between your knees, this wool is clear.
Yes.
So if you've still got wool there, then
it's really
you can't get at it to shear it. So we've cleared that off, brought it up there. Now as you bring her up, we carry on shearing on an arc then from the backbone. So we've cleared up that side, this wool is all there. So we come back in under this, on the backbone, on an arc then, down around, and then come in under the shoulder blade there, and down through, and then a few nice long blows then, and just keep shuffling back with your feet. What I tend to do is keep my heels together, then that stops your head falling to the floor.
Right.
If you stand with your feet apart,
you
just fall away and she's gone. So you just keep your heels together and think about keeping your heels together, then your calves kind of stay somewhere near together, and it stops her head falling to the floor. So I'm just shuffling backwards, letting her roll towards me, and with my left hand keeping the skin tight all the time. So I keep pulling the skin up. Each time I do a blow, I'll just move my fingers a bit further down, do the next blow, move my fingers a bit further down, just shuffle back a little bit. You see her head staying fairly high. Once she gets her head down on the floor, then she'll think, right, I'm away.
Yeah.
So just keeping her head up, and then keep rolling it towards you, round to the top of the tail again, and hopefully she's done.
There you are, you see? Easy as that. Right, Tim, Go on, show off.
Takes longer to talk about it than it is to do it.
I once did a shearing match with Tim. He sheared 5 in under 5 minutes.
So this is a little bit sticky, it's not going under quite so easy, it's sort of pushing off rather than pushing under. You'll find that sometimes on the belly. So just persevere, it'll come. So as there's no belly wool on there, it's a lot easier to get at it, get it off there. So we see, just a little bit then, either side of her bum. Cut those bits off. Up under the tail. Down that side, down the back, down that side. You don't need to go any further than that. We get that when we come round. So just the outside of the comb, a couple of teeth out there to get on there first. And rather than pull the wool that I'm going to cut, I'm dripping the wool back there. So you'll see I've got a good distance between my hand and the machine, keeping the skin tight each time. So I can get a bit of weight on there now and keep that skin tight. Then just rolling it towards me now, rolling those bits of wool towards me. You see we've gone right over the backbone there now. So off the top of the brisket then, up the side of her neck. That's the scary bit for most people, since you can't see where you're going. So around, take the sideburns off, tidy her up. You can see because the neck's so narrow, put the whole comb on there. There's only the centre of the comb touching and doing any cutting, so we're just using the outside edge of the comb. And then we step through and start to spin around now. Again, half the comb, look. Don't get the whole comb flat on there yet. Keep spinning her, following her around. Seeing the shoulder off. Sometimes with the shoulder, just lift that front leg up to tighten that bit of skin. And then we're down onto the long blows then. Blow there, blow there. So just flick the fleece away, out of the way if it's not rolling. See a nice full comb there now, come out. A couple of teeth there to finish that bit off. Let it roll towards you. Get over the backbone. Keep coming up around. And then what I said about cleaning this off now before you pick her up too far. So while she's there now, clean that off. So it's out of the way then when you pull her up. Bring her up now, and I've got plenty of room there now to get the comb in. And you'll feel if the comb is going to stick in. You see me pull back there then. You might have a little injection lump or something sometimes. So bring that front leg up. Nice full comb, longest blow down to there now. Again, full comb. Flicking the wool out of my way. As you said, it's about remembering the shape of the sheep, but equally remembering to keep the skin tight. You'll see I'm working my fingers, my left hand down around their leg there. Keeping that skin nice and tight. I've kept her head up off the floor, so she's not looking to wriggle away yet. And there we go. Another satisfied customer.
Brilliant. Brilliant.